قبل أن أبدأ طبعا نتشرف هنا بخدمة المؤمنين والمؤمنات. أشكركم على الدعوة وإن شاء الله نسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى أن يوفقني لخدمتكم في الليالي الثلاثة. ثانيا، إذا ممكن أطلب من الإخوة والأخوات الرجاء تسكيت الأطفال حتى نكون في أثناء المحاضرة مثل هذا الصوت أن يقطعون أحيانا سلسلة الأفكار. الرجاء اللي عنده طفل يحب يصعد في الغرف الأخرى أو شلون مكان أهلا وسهلا. الأمر الثالث، إذا ممكن أطلب من الإخوة والأخوات اللي عنده نقال الهواتف النقالة إما إغلاقها أو وضعها على السايلنت رجاء. If you have a mobile phone, please turn it off or keep it on silent. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والحمد لله رب العالمين بارئ الخلائق أجمعين باعث الأنبياء والمرسلين ثم الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء وسيد المرسلين حبيب إله العالمين المصطفى أبي القاسم محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد
وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المنتجبين الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
صلى الله عليك يا سيدي ويا مولاي يا أبا عبد الله. صلى الله عليك يا ابن رسول الله يا رحمة الله الواسعة ويا باب نجاة الأمة. رزقنا الله في الدنيا زيارتكم وشفاعتكم في الدنيا والآخرة. أما بعد، فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى في كتابه المجيد وقرآنه الحميد وقوله الحق: أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ولا تكونوا كالذين نسوا الله فأنساهم أنفسهم أولئك هم الفاسقون. صدق الله العلي العظيم. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
This world that we live in is a world known as the world of cause and effect. Everything in this world has a cause and an effect. This is quite evident in the materialistic sense. No one denies it in the materialistic sense. We just need to stretch it to the spiritual sense as well. But before we go there, we can say that a lot of researchers, scientists, scholars try to investigate and understand the causes for a lot of issues. For example, I'll give you one example. Research has shown that 80% of diabetic patients die from a heart attack. So 4 out of every 5 diabetic patients will eventually die from a heart attack. So that's an effect. The question that scientists ask is why? How come? What is the cause? So a lot of research has been invested. Billions of dollars is invested to figure out the cause. What's causing it? So some say in a healthy heart, in a normal person, 70% of the heart's energy, the heart needs energy to pump, keep on beating. 70% of its energy comes from fat. 30% comes from sugar, known as glucose. Glucose cannot enter into the heart by itself. It needs another hormone. You know what's the name of that hormone? Insulin. Insulin. Which was discovered by 2 Canadian doctors, by the way. So us Canadians, we're pretty good there. We do good things. When a person is diabetic, that sugar cannot get into the heart. There is an enzyme in the heart. This enzyme, it breaks big fat into small fat so that the heart can use it for energy. In the diabetic patient who is in the diabetic state, sugar cannot get into the heart. So what ends up happening is this enzyme starts to increase the heart, and instead of using 70% fat for energy and 30% sugar, that sugar goes down to almost zero. Almost zero. 1 or 2%. Now the heart uses almost 98, 99% what? Fat for energy. Over the course of a period of time, prolonged time, we're talking maybe 5, 10, 15, 20 years, this process eventually makes the heart tired because it requires more effort to get energy from fat. 70% no problem. The heart can cope with it. That's a normal thing. You shoot it up to almost 100%, the heart has a problem. Many years later, it may quit. And hence, 80% of diabetic patients die of a heart attack. Of course, it's much more complicated. I'm simplifying it. In fact, I'm oversimplifying it. Let's not get into the macrophages, the LDLs, all that stuff, Let's keep it simple. So, now imagine a conference is held on diabetes and heart problem, cardiovascular disease, let's say. Scientists are gathered all at that conference. Each one is discussing why the heart quits, for example. Why is there a heart failure in the diabetic state? People are coming up with a whole bunch of ideas. It's all being discussed. A person gets up and says, wait, I've solved it. I figured it all out. And people will be like, how did you solve it? What is it? Imagine him coming up on the stage, giving a presentation, and saying, you guys are just out of your minds. You're wasting your time, you're wasting your energy, you're wasting your resources, you're wasting money. It all happens by coincidence. Chance. All this that you're observing is chance, luck, just coincidence. Sudfa. A random process. Now, what do you think the reaction will be from that scientific community towards this individual? What would they say about him? At the very least, they will say this man is out of his mind. At the very least. What are you talking about? For the past 20, 30 years we've been researching, investigating, and you're telling us it's all coincidence? How could it be? How could a random process, I mean, when 80%, not just 1 or 2, 80% die of a heart attack, it can't be just random. It can't be just luck, chance, coincidence. There must be a reason. What's interesting is those same people who would tell this man that you're crazy, they themselves would come, some of them, and say, you know what? This whole human being is just chance, coincidence, a random process of evolution. Now, what do you think the reaction should be? If you do not accept one phenomenon, one issue, heart failing during a diabetic state, if that to you is not an act of randomness, there are consequences, there are reasons, there are effects, there are causes led to it. If that you don't accept, and you consider the person who says so as an insane, how can you accept the entire being of the human being with all the multi-million reactions that take place? All just a chance? A random process? A Nobel laureate back in the 1970s got up on the stage in his Nobel laureate acceptance speech. And he said, man has to accept the fact that he is the result of an accident. Accident. A Nobel laureate. Someone winning the Nobel Prize for his research. Man is an accident. That is why a lot of scientists reject this notion. Some scientists these days are coming up and say this does not make sense. To tell us everything here is just a random act of evolution, a random process, does not make sense. And that's why you have some scientists coming up with what's called the intelligent design theory. Intelligent design. So this universe has an intelligent designer. They're just shy of calling him Allah or God or whatever it is, so they just call it the intelligent design. In fact, there's a professor at a very big university in the States called Lehigh University. His name is Michael Behe, B-E-H-E. You can look him up if you like. He's written a whole book about evolution, the black box. And he's spearheading this whole notion. He introduced it. The intelligent design theory. Islamic philosophers, and in fact we can say some philosophers, have picked up this idea and they've used it to say, just like you cannot accept a phenomenon that happens in the human body as a random process, then this universe is probably did not come by a random process. One of them, for example, is René Descartes. Descartes came out, although there's a lot of discussion about Descartes today in philosophy, if you go to schools, they'll shred it into pieces, but nonetheless, we're not here to discuss whether he's right or he's wrong. What's interesting is he used that kind of approach. Descartes came and said, I am going to doubt everything that I've learned. Whatever my parents taught me, whatever my school teachers taught me, whatever my environment, I'm going to start from scratch. From zero. In Arabic they call it a shakud dasturi. Shak dasturi. An ordered fashion, doubt. Not like the idealists. The idealists say the whole world is just non-existence. That's messed up. That's really messed up. For some reasons. But he did not go that far. He was like, no, I'm going to start with some order here. So I'm going to doubt everything. Where do I begin from? Where do I start from? He says, well, I have to have a start point. So I'm going to start from the following. I know I can think. I'm thinking right now. And because I can think, I know I exist. So that's where he began from. I can think, therefore I exist. Let's start from that. And then he started building the blocks until finally he came to the conclusion that this universe, this whole world, must have had an originator a creator, or what is called in philosophy the first cause. The first cause. One who initiated everything. Scientists today say the Big Bang Theory suggests that the world started with an explosion. Our response is as follows. You guys, those of you who have studied in universities, there's a law that's called the law of conservation of energy. Have you heard about that? Law of conservation of energy? Energy is conserved. Cannot be created, nor can it be destroyed. So the question that I, as a chemist, would pose to the world, to the community, to those individuals, as a scientist, I would ask, the Big Bang Theory suggests there was an explosion. Explosion requires energy. Energy cannot be created, nor can it be destroyed. So that first initial energy which caused the explosion, where did it come from? And that's where science does not answer. And in fact, I had a debate once with a person, a physicist, who when I posed this question to him, that's where he stopped. He said, that I don't have an answer for yet. But we're working on it. I told him, well, once you find it, let me know. When you find it, let me know. Because that's where science stops. And even Hawkins, when he's written his book, if you really try to shred his logic, you'll find that there are some holes. Arguments that may seem as valid, but they're not sound. Nonetheless, everything has a cause and effect. Scientists appreciate this in the materialistic sense. We can then stretch it a step further to say, not only in the materialistic sense, but rather even in the spiritual sense. Everything has a cause and effect. Imam al-Kadhim, alayhi salam, was walking one day at night. He walks by a house. From this house, he hears the sounds of music, loud music. People are enjoying a party, basically. And unfortunately, sometimes some of our community members attend some of these parties. Just a couple of weeks ago, you guys have Halloween here? You guys celebrate Halloween? Yeah. I know people in Canada who would send their children to Halloween parties. You ask them why? It's just a party, it's for kids, it's okay. No, that's not okay. I know they're kids, this age. Doesn't mean that we send them to parties. What are we trying to teach them there? What are we trying to educate them there? In fact, some parents, they come to me, although I may digress here a little bit, but I'll come back. Bear with me, please. Some parents came to me, they come to me every year. I get this question every year almost. Can I take my children trick-or-treating? Do you guys go trick-or-treating? How many? Do we have anyone? Any brave buddy? MashaAllah, thanks for being honest. Now they're coming up. Awesome, good. Well, from the religious perspective, it's not haram. Religiously speaking, it's not haram. However, I tell parents, this year, specifically this year, Halloween coincided with Eid al-Ghadir and Eid al-Mubahala. If you know Eid al-Mubahala, on the 24th day of the Hijjah. Eid al-Ghadir on the 18th, so about a week between them. In fact, Eid al-Mubahala was the same day as Halloween, you know. Eid al-Mubahala was Wednesday, I believe, Halloween was Thursday, so just give or take one day. So I told the parents, why don't you teach and educate your children about the significance of Ghadir, Mubahala. Tell them, son, daughter, you want candy? I'll get you all the candy you want. Enjoy. but I will get it to you in the name of Al-Ghadir, in the name of Al-Mubahalah, in the name of Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam. This is how we encourage our children to love Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam. Your son, your daughter would come to you, says, father, son, or mom, I want to buy, for example, I don't know, PlayStation. Tell them, if you want to buy it for them, if you decide to do so, tell them, okay, no problem. I will get it for you. For example, nowadays, the next happy occasion is the Prophet's birthday, for example. So, Prophet's birthday comes, I will buy it for you. Now, what will this create in this child? Those of you who are parents, you know what I'm going to be talking about. Every day, your child is going to pester you. Father, is it Prophet's birthday yet? Is it Prophet's birthday? He's going to ask you every day. He's going to wait for the Prophet's birthday. Because he wants his toy. What you've done, you've made him long for the time of the Prophet's birthday. When the Prophet's birthday comes, tafadhal, here you go. He's enjoying his, amazing. Give it to him and tell him one small thing. Tell him, say thank you to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Thank Rasulullah because he gave it to you. If it weren't for his birthday, you wouldn't have gotten this. He'll say, thank you Rasulullah. That's how it goes. But that's fine. In the next occasion, alhamdulillah, we have 14 ma'soom. Alhamdulillah. 14 ma'soom and their children. Some of them like Zainab alayhi salam, Fatima al-Ma'sooma alayhi salam. MashaAllah, full of ayat, full of celebrations. In the next celebration, again, they want something else. Give it to them in the next celebration. This is how you slowly try to connect them to Ahlul Bayt. Now a child, at his way of level of thinking, he loves them because of the candy, of the toys, or what, which is fine. Step by step. But what you have done is, first of all, you've attached this celebration to a ma'soom. Not to a fictitious celebration called Halloween, which traces back to burning women, witches, nonsense. This is real. Eid Ghadir, Eid Mubahala, real. Second, you've made your children aware there is a Prophet's birthday coming. There is a Eid al-Ghadir coming because he's waiting for his game. He's waiting for his toy. Third, you've provided him or her with a replacement, substitute. Substitute. I know there is a child, I mentioned this in one of my Muharram Majlis. A brother came to me once a few years ago. He said, my son, 7-year-old. He came to me, he said, Father, I don't want to be a Muslim anymore. 7-year-old. I told him, why Dad? How come? He says, Father, it's boring. We don't have Halloween, we don't have Christmas, we don't put up lights in Christmas, no trees, nothing. So the father came to me, he said, what do I do? I told him, you have to give him the substitute. Give him substitute. We have, alhamdulillah, so many a'yad. So many celebrations, so many occasions. Give him a substitute. Tell him we do not celebrate Halloween, but for example in Arab, you guys remember we celebrate Majina. Majina, Wilat al-Imam al-Hasan alayhi salam. This is real. Wilat al-Imam al-Hasan alayhi salam. That's something to celebrate. Worth of. In fact, with regards to Eid al-Ghadir, it is said, Imam al-Rida alayhi salam used to change his dishes. The dishes, he used to order a new set on Eid al-Ghadir. So he replaces some of the home furniture, let's say, on the day of Eid al-Ghadir, and it's mustahab to do so. To buy things on the day of Eid al-Ghadir. Now your wives are going to come after you and say, so let's Eid al-Ghadir, I want a new car, and you, mashallah. You're lucky you have a whole year, alhamdulillah, please, for Eid al-Ghadir. So start saving, my brothers. But it's mustahab. You see what I'm saying? You attach something to a real story, to something real. You give them, for example, this candy on Wilad al-Imam al-Hasan. putting decoration on the, for example, the house, these Christmas lights. You put them at the wilada of the Prophet ﷺ. There's nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it. See, we celebrate the wilada. We live in a society that celebrates Halloween, Christmas, so on and so forth. We respect that. We respect it. لَكُمْ دِينُكُمْ وَلِيَ دِينِ. You celebrate Halloween, أهلا وسهلا. Celebrate Christmas, أهلا وسهلا. We have our celebrations. There's no need for me to... Next year, in fact, those of you who went to trick-or-treating, next year, Halloween is going to be in Muharram. The wafat maybe Abu al-Fadl Abbas, 7th, 8th, give or take, of Muharram. Now what will you tell your children? You tell them that it's Muharram, we can't go trick-or-treating, but they'll tell you, well, last year you let me go trick-or-treating, why aren't you letting me this year? What are you going to say? Imam al-Hussein, you know what's going to happen? A reaction. Instead of loving Imam al-Hussein, they will start, wal-'iyadu billah, not really liking Imam al-Hussein. Wal-'iyadu billah. You know why? Put yourself in their shoes. What are they thinking? Because of Imam al-Hussein, I didn't go trick-or-treating this year. You're laughing. That's what's going to happen. You wait. And in fact, for the next 5-6 years maybe, it's going to be the same thing. Muharram Safar. It has to start from a young age. Young age. From a young age, you tell them, son, daughter. It is indeed something to cry for. I don't blame that baby for crying, really. Sometimes you cry, because when you hear these stories, you start crying. I don't blame that baby. I feel like crying sometimes. That's right, exactly. But you see what's going to happen. It has to start from a young age. التعليم في الصغار كالنقش على الحجر. When they're little, when they're 1-2-year-old, when they can absorb from you, you teach them. You tell them, son, daughter, Halloween, no. I will buy you candy, all the candy you want, in another occasion. I will buy you new clothes on another occasion, your toys on another occasion, and so on and so forth. We'll have the decoration of the light on another occasion. And so they will grow up with this kind of mentality. That's how it starts. So Imam al-Kadhim alayhi salam, I go back to my story. He went by one of these houses that there was a party going on in the house, wal-'iyadu billah. A maid walks out of the house to throw away the garbage. She's got garbage. Imam al-Kadhim asks this maid, he says, the owner of this house, is he a free man or a slave? Now back in those days, they used to have slaves that they own. A slave back in those days could not own anything. A slave. He's owned himself. He doesn't even own himself. Abd. So this lady, when she heard this question of Imam al-Kadhim, she was like, what kind of a silly question is this? Obviously he's a free man. What kind of a slave would own such a house? And Imam al-Kadhim alayhi salam said, you're right. He must be a free man. Because if he was a slave, he would not be doing what he's doing. And Imam al-Kadhim walks. This maid goes back to the house. The owner of the house, a man by the name of Bishr. Bishr says to the maid, what took you so long? She said, I came across a strange man. He asked me a strange question. What did he ask you? He said, if the owner of the house is a free man or a slave. Bishr was intrigued by this question. He said, so what did you say? So I told him, obviously he's a free man. What slave would own such a house? What did he tell you? This is what he said. He said to her, describe this man to me. What did he look like? She said, this is what he looked like. قال ويحك هذا موسى بن جعفر. He said, this is the description of Musa ibn Ja'far, Imam al-Kadhim alayhi salam. Which way did he go? She said, this way. he ran barefoot, he didn't even put his shoes on, ran after Imam al-Kadhib salamullahi alayhi, threw himself on the Imam's hand, started kissing the Imam's hand. قال سيدي كنت حرا فأصبحت عبدا. I was a free man, but now I've become a slave. Imam al-Kadhib was referring to what kind of slavery? Slavery to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And what a great status. You know, the Prophet, our Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi, his title, you know, Ibrahim is Khalilullah, Ismail, Dabihullah, Musa, Asr. Our Prophet, what is his title? Habibullah, Habibullah. What does Allah refer to his Habib in the Quran as? Subhanalladhi asra bi'abdihi. Abd. ما يقول الإمام سلام الله عليه إلهي كفى بي عزا عز أن أكون لك عبدا. واحد لما يقول أنا عبد الله هذا عز فخر. وكفى بي فخرا أن تكون لي ربا. أنت كما أحب فاجعلني كما تحب. عز. Imam al-Kadhib alayhi salam wanted to say this man was free from the slavery of Allah wal-'iyadhu billah. Allah says it is haram to listen to this kind of music, to live to this kind of life. And I would say, I don't care, Ya Allah. I don't care. I'll do whatever I want. Allah says, my dear sisters, you have to put on your hijab. No, Ya Allah. I don't want to put on my hijab. I don't want to listen to you. My brothers, my sisters, come to the majalis of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, majalis of dhikr. I don't want to. I want to enjoy my time. Friday night, Saturday night. And even when we come to these majalis, you find the boys and the girls, mashallah, on their gadgets playing. And instead of listening, which in my humble opinion, I think is the mistake of the parents. First time you bring them here, you tell them no gadgets here, no toys. Here you come to listen. First time they'll give you some headache. Second time, third time, khalas, they'll learn. I come to Husayniyah, I'm not going to play. Afterwards, no problem, let them enjoy themselves. Although mashallah يعني احنا شبابنا اطفالنا مصارعة حرة الصيف بعدين ما شاء الله بوكسيات وحركات وما شاء الله كذا يعني not to that much to enjoy themselves بس يعني طيب الأمور أوسط بعض. So we really have to ask ourselves, Ya Allah, what would you like? I will do what you like. This man, Bishr, became known as Bishr al-Hafi, barefoot, Hafi. He goes back to the house, he changes his life 180 degrees. Completely. And today if you go to Iraq, he has a mazar, there is a mazar for Bishr al-Hafi. The man became a muttaqi, a abid, a zahid. Now a good question. Was it a coincidence that Imam al-Kadhib alayhi salam was walking by Bishr's house that night? Was it a coincidence that the maid of Bishr came out of the house just at the same time Imam al-Kadhib was going by that house? Was it a coincidence that Bishr notices his maid taking so long? Was it a coincidence that Bishr asks his maid, what took you so long? That's too many coincidences. Just like we could not accept that heart stopping from an act of coincidence, this is also too many. In fact, in Islamic philosophy, we don't have something such as a coincidence. Nothing is a coincidence. It's all cause and effect. Something must have happened in order for all these things to line up so perfectly well to lead to the hidayah, guidance of Bishr. It says, before this incident happens, a while before it, one day Bishr al-Hafi was walking on the street. He finds what we today call a piece of paper, although back then they did not have paper, they had leather. He found a piece on the ground, in the ground. Bends down, picks it up, looks at it. There is Ismullah. Bismillah. Ismullah al-A'la. Ismul Jalal, Lafdul Jalal. In the ground. The name of Allah. It's in the ground, dusty, dirty. He gets upset. He said, who threw this on the ground? How could the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be thrown in the sand, in the dust? This is not right. We should respect this. He picks it up, cleans it, takes it to his house, cleans it further, puts some perfume on it, and then puts it in a safe place. He says, this is the name of Allah. One has to respect the name of Allah. Can't throw it here in the ground. He perfumes it, he cleans it, he puts it in a safe place. It is said that same night, Bishr heard a voice telling him, Ya Bishr, طيبت اسمي في الدنيا لأطيبن اسمك في الدنيا والآخرة. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. Bishr, you perfumed my name in dunya. I'm also going to perfume your name in dunya and in akhirah. This act, which may seem very simple, very small, very insignificant, he picked up the name of Allah, he cleaned it, purified it, perfumed it, and kept it as very simple. This act, in the eyes of Allah, was not a simple act. This simple, small act resulted in the hidayah, was the cause for the hidayah, the guidance of Bishr al-Hafi. A while later, Allah sends Imam al-Kadhim at that time, at that moment, when the maid is coming out. So he talks to her, she goes back, she speaks to Bishr, none of it is a coincidence. You see how the chain of events took place. Similarly, our actions in dunya, each and every one of them, every word we say, each and every one of it has a consequence. And sometimes the consequence could be major consequence. Either positively major, like the hidayah of Bishr, or wal-'iyadu billah, negatively major, like the misguidance of Sharik. Sharik he appeared to be as a man of virtue, taqwa, piety. Al-Hadi al-Abbasi called him over. He said, Sharik, I want you to be a judge in my state. Sharik said, keep me away from it, please. I don't want to be a judge in your state. Between himself, he was thinking, this is a state of zalimeen, oppressors, I don't want to help them. He tells them, okay, I want you to teach my children. Teach them Quran, teach them something, and I'll pay you for it. He said, no, I don't want that either. Okay, Sharik, listen, I'm going to give you one of three options, or four options. You either accept to become a judge in my state, or you teach my children, or you accept to have a meal with me, dinner, or I'm going to kill you. Democracy, freedom of choice. That's the kind of democracy we have in the Middle East, mashallah. Similar democracy. So, Sharik thought to himself, my God, okay, well maybe the easiest thing to do is to accept the dinner. Dinner, easy. Go in, eat, get out. Finish. He says, okay, I'll take the dinner. He says, tomorrow, done. The Khalifa turns to his chef. He He says, I want you to cook the best of foods. Best. I want Sharik, when he enters, he sees a table he's never seen in his life before. Done. Indeed, he cooks him some amazing foods. Sharik comes, when he enters, he's really shocked. He's never seen such a table in his life before. Now, instead of him, say for example, eating 1 or 2 bites just to save his life, لا, صاحبنا قاعد ما شاء الله وربها, as they say. He sat down and ما شاء الله. When he finished, the chef turned to the minister of Al-Hadi Al-Abbasi, a man by the name of Rabi'a. قال أيها الوزير لن يفلح هذا الشيخ بعد هذا الطعام أبدا. He turned to the minister and said, Minister, this old man, Muharram Sharik, he is not going to win dunya or akhirah after this meal. That's it. The man has lost everything. Indeed, after eating that meal, he became a judge in the state of Al-Hadi Al-Abbasi. After that, he started teaching the children of Al-Hadi Al-Abbasi. And he started receiving every year 100,000 dinar. Dinar. One year he goes to the man in charge of distributing the salaries, the treasurer. The treasurer tells him, right now, I don't have 100,000 on me right now, but money's coming soon, don't worry. So I'm going to give you, let's say for example, whatever I have, 95,000. You're still about a few thousand dinars short. You can come back later. Sharik tells him, no, I want all my money cash, right now. I'm not going to wait. Doesn't, I don't have it. Says, you have to find money. He says, Sharik, you're getting 90,000 dinars just now. 95,000 dinars. What did you do to deserve all this money anyways? What have you done? What have you sold? He said, I sold something very precious. قال بعت ديني. بعت ديني. He said, I sold my religion for this. What I sold is much more precious than this. Now you know why? I'm not going to let go of 1 dinar. I wanted the whole 100,000. All because of what? What? 1 meal. 1 haram meal. Saw the consequence? Sometimes we think, listening to the music, haram music, who cares? It's okay, Allah Ghafur Rahim. That act could lead to Jahannam. Sometimes the way we talk, al-ghiba, al-namima, backbiting, slandering, such a majlis, sometimes such a majlis like this. After the majlis is over, mashallah, people over chai. Did you see what this lady did? Did you see what that woman did? Did you see what that guy did? And we just talk about people. The whole thawab is burnt before we even leave the door. And sometimes you tell people, Ya akhi, this is haram, ghiba. What do you mean ghiba? You mean I do ghiba? You're trying to teach me? Ya akhi, wallah, تذكر إن الذكرى تنفع المؤمنين. I'm not trying to teach you, I'm trying to remind. And he gets upset and he leaves. You really have to be careful. That word I say about a mu'min, a mu'mina, how many times do we see mu'minin arguing, fighting, here in the center sometimes? Have you seen it happen? Here sometimes, here, right in front of you. A mu'min insulting another mu'min, mu'mina insulting another mu'mina. I was sitting down, he walked in, didn't say salamu alaykum to me. How could he not say salamu alaykum to me? Hello? The whole community, don't talk to this guy anymore. Khalas, war. Or go onto the email and send it to 1,000 people. CC 1,000 people. You go to China, you hear somebody telling, oh, you're the guy who didn't say salam to somebody? Maybe he didn't see you. Maybe. احمل أخاك على 70 محمل. احنا ما نحمل ولا على نص محمل، مو 70، نص محمل ما نحمل. That's how we are. Let's be realistic. That's how we are, generally speaking. All this has an effect. اللهم اغفر لي الذنوب التي تغير النعم. اللهم اغفر لي الذنوب التي تنزل النقم. اللهم اغفر لي الذنوب التي تحبس الدعاء. غيبة, backbiting, slandering, insulting a fellow mu'min are among these sins. الحديث القدسي يقول من أهان لي وليا فقد تهيأ لحربي بالمبارزة. مضمون الحديث من أهان لي وليا، حديث قدسي، هذا يعني قاعد يحاربني حرب مع الله والعياذ بالله. تخيل واحد يقدر يحارب الله والعياذ بالله. هذا الإنسان من أهان لي وليا. والحديث الآخر يقول إن الله أخفى أولياءه في عباده فلا تهينن عبدا من عبيده فقد يكون وليا من أولياء الله. هذا شخص يأتي للمجلس تشوفه ظاهرة من الناحية الاجتماعية بسيط فقير، تشوف أحيانا مثلا في بعض المجالس بالعراق، في إيران، مثلا في أماكن أخرى، يجي شخص بسيط على ولدنا على باب الله، يدخل للمجلس فقير بسيط ملابسه كذا. هذا الشخص لعله من الناحية الظاهرية الاجتماعية بسيط فقير ما له قيمة، ولي من أولياء الله. أنا أهينه في كلمة، أقول له حكاية، هذا يطلع ولي من أولياء الله اللي بسببه والعياذ بالله قد تهيأت لمبارزة الله والعياذ بالله إذا سمع حكاية. So one has to be very careful, very careful. Some of the things we say, you children, when you talk to your parents, if they tell you go do something, oh later, later dad, I'm playing. Ya akhi, that's why these games have a pause button. You know, there's a pause button. You can pause, stop it, save it, and then say yes father, I'll come back to it later. Listening to the parents, listening to the family members, respecting the elders, everything has a consequence, everything. The more a person obeys his parents, his family, obeys others, respects people, akhlaq, the more successful he will be in dunya and akhirah. The Arabic poet says, فَإِذَا رُزِقْتَ خَلِيقَةً مَحْمُودَةً فَقَدْ اصْطَفَاكَ مُقَسِّمُ الْأَرْزَاقِ النَّاسِ هَذَا رِزْقُهُ مَالٌ وَذَا عِلْمٌ وَذَاكَ مَكَارِمٌ أَخْلَاقِ. وهو الأفضل كامل الأخلاق. عالم ما عنده أخلاق شو فايدك؟ واحد يحب يروح يسأله؟ رجل ثري ما عنده أخلاق والعياذ بالله. كما نرى في البعض إن الإنسان لا يطغى أن رآه استغنى. شوية حصل له حصيلة من العلم، صار دكتور، ها أنا الدكتور فلان، أنا كلمتي بعد صارت سماوية، أنا أفهم في كل شيء، أو أنا عندي شوية ثروة، خلاص على قولتهم my way or the highway. That's it. هكذا إن الإنسان لا يطغى أن رآه استغنى. So we really need to be careful, brothers and sisters. You coming to these majalis could be a simple majlis, small, but this majlis may be the one on the day of judgment. Al-Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam will tell you that, you know what, because of this majlis that you attended, I am going to intercede for you. Could be. there was a man in Karbala. He used to take people for ziyarah. It's back in the old days. You know, sometimes the Indians would come. Some of their businessmen, they would call them Maharajas. Maharaja, an Indian businessman, wealthy man, would come. Shia. They come for ziyarah. They don't speak Arabic. They don't speak the language. They don't know anything. So some people in Karbala, until today they exist. Until today you have people in Karbala and Najaf, and they take Zawar, take them around. This man used to do this job. Whenever the Maharajas would come, he would meet them, treat them for ziyarah, take them out, and so on and so forth. One day, business went very bad. His financial situation went really bad. He thought to himself, you know what, I have some friends in India, these Maharajas. Maybe if I go to India, they will help me out. They'll give me something. So he does. He goes all the way to India. He meets one of those Maharajas. The Maharaja says, no problem, I know you very well, you're a good friend of mine. Every time I come, you take good care of us. But I have one request. I'll give you all the money you need. How much you need, I'll give it to you. No problem. Alhamdulillah. But one. He said, what is it? He said, I want you to gift me the thawab of one of your ziyarat to Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. One time he went for ziyarah of Imam al-Hussein, you give me the thawab of that ziyarah. Anyone. You live in Karbala, you must have visited Imam al-Hussein many times. One of those he gave to me. Thawab, the reward. This man thought for a second. He said, yeah, okay, no problem. You know how we are, we give usually the worst. That's how we are. So this guy, you know, back in the old days, they did not have bathrooms in their homes. They did not have bathrooms. If they wanted to go to do ghusl, for example, or get a shower, they had to go out to what's called the hammam, the public bathroom. It's back in the old days. So one day, this man, he needed to do ghusl. So he got out of his house. He walked by the haram of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. He walked by it. He saw the dome. He felt ashamed, embarrassed a little bit. Because he's in the state of janaba. He cannot enter into the haram. So he said, Assalamu alayka ya Aba Abdullah, with kind of an emotional way. Emotional because he's feeling a little bit embarrassed. He's feeling a little bit guilty that, you know, I'm in this state and I can't really come to visit you, Ya Aba Abdullah, so I'm sorry. This is just a short, but it was, Ya Assalamu alayka Ya Aba Abdullah. And he left. He went. He was just passing by. Quick, ziyarah and went. He said to himself, this is the one I'm going to gift it to him. This is the ziyarah. This is what I'm going to gift it. That's how we are, mashallah. You know, when it comes to giving to others, we're stingy. Very good, mashallah. We're creative in stinginess, mashallah. Creative. The Maharaja says, okay, now he didn't know. He said, the man told him, you know what, I have one ziyarah, I'll give it to you. Okay. He said, good, khalas, show you the money. This man goes to sleep that night. He sees Al-Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam in his dream. Imam al-Hussein tells him, do you know that ziyarah that you gifted to this Maharaja? He said, yes, Ya Aba Abdullah. He says, this was the only ziyarah I actually accepted from you. Because that ziyarah came from your heart. Although it was just Assalamu alayka ya Aba Abdullah. Not ziyarat walid, not ziyarat not Assalamu alayka ya Aba. But that Assalamu alayka, when you were in that state, it came from your heart. You said it really, you meant it. You were feeling guilty, feeling shy, feeling embarrassed, and you really meant it. So it came from your heart. That is the only ziyarah I accepted from you. And now you gave the thawab to the Maharaja. The next day, this man goes to the Maharaja. He says, please, I beg you, take your money back, give me my ziyarah back. He says, too bad. Done deal, khalas. Finish. So sometimes you think this majlis, this ziyarah, Majalis, two people sometimes, two people. We've heard of stories, Imam al-Mahdi Ajjalallahu Ta'ala Farajahu al-Sharif, attending a majlis where only two people are present. Two people. There are stories. One of them is narrated by Sheikh Abdul Zahra al-Ka'bi rahmatullahi alayhi. He narrates one of the stories. Two people. It's not by number, it's not by size. So these majalis, when there is an opportunity to attend the majlis of Imam al-Hussein, don't miss it. Thursday night there is Dua Kumayn, attend. Friday, for example, if there is Salat al-Jum'ah, attend. Friday night there is a youth session, attend. Always be here. The more you come, the better. Bring all these kids here. Let them grow up together so they form friendships. It has social consequences, religious consequences, many good consequences come from. This is the house of Imam al-Hussein or Imam Ali alayhi salam. House of Ahl al-Bayt. Doesn't belong to Zayd or Amr or Khalid. Imam al-Hussein. Every time you come here, there is blessing, barakat. I'll mention this hadith, I don't want to take much of your time. I'm only here for 3 days, so I'm trying to squeeze everything as much as I can. سليمان الحنفي القندوزي رجل حنفي عنده كتاب يسمى ينابيع المودة. رجل حنفي يذكر هذا الحديث. كتاب موجود ينابيع المودة لسليمان الحنفي القندوزي. يقول الملائكة تحضر في مجالس ذكر محمد وآل محمد. The angels attend. This man is not a Shia man who narrates this hadith in his book. It says the angels come into the majalis of dhikr Ahl al-Bayt. Whenever the remembrance of Ahl al-Bayt is mentioned, these angels come. After the majlis, the malaika go up. They ascend to the skies. Other malaika see them, other angels see them. They tell them, you have such a beautiful fragrance, smell. Where were you? They will tell them, we were in the majalis of dhikr Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. And we read this, by the way, we read this in Hadith al-Kisab. Hadith al-Kisab. كلما ذكر خبرنا هذا في محفل من محافل أهل الأرض وفيه جمع من شيعتنا ومحبينا إلا ونزلت عليهم الرحمة وحفت بهم الملائكة. حفت يعني شنو؟ يعني مزدحم المكان، احنا ما نشوفه لأن أجسامهم لطيفة. وحفت بهم الملائكة وش يسوون؟ واستغفرت لهم يعني إن شاء الله أنتم الآن الملائكة تستغفر لكم إن شاء الله كلكم، حتى هذا الطفل الرضيع الصغير إلى الشيخ الكبير. واستغفرت لهم إلى أن يتفرقوا. Until you leave. Angels are in this place inshallah. Imagine if this place is covered by angels, what are we getting in terms of spirituality? We don't see it. It has a huge impact on your children, on yourselves. There's a huge transformation process happening right now. Huge impact. How many people have we seen from the majalis of Ahl al-Bayt change their entire lives? From the majlis. You might know some people. One majlis he attends in his life, or she attends, she starts wearing hijab.